How was last week? How's your meditation going?
Spotty, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, spotty. I'm traveling again. But I'm coming back to Ahihi next week, so it'll be back to the good routine, the better routine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I guess that's one of the problems of building your meditation practice into your daily habits, because when you travel, all that routine goes to hell.
That is so true.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to work on that somehow. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about it, but anyway.
Well, one of the things you can do that is theoretically possible is, at least during the travel part of the travel, you could meditate.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, I did some of that on the airplane the other day.
That's
you don't
good.
get to have as long an uninterrupted space, but you can get a few minutes here and there. Yeah.
Right. And I actually think that is an important part of the process, especially when you are building it into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about you, Doug?
Oh, me, well, I guess spotty would be a good term for me too. Not that I've been traveling, but that, I don't know, I've just had a lot of stuff going on that's been a distraction, and I haven't been able to get into it every day.
Mm-hmm.
I can't make my mind be still.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm trying to make my mind be still, but it's just been kind of unusually busy week.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
again, we have all these up and down in life, and we have to make our choices every day. Actually, we make our choices more frequently than every day. Each minute we choose. And where meditation ends up on your daily list for most people is a matter of, what you're choosing at the moment. And the more important you see the meditation is, the more often you'll choose it. I think that's the way it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the thing is that even though last week was spotty for both of you, you're still here. You still have this kind of long-term intent and desire, and you're trying to act out on it. And, that actually shows a lot. So I pay more attention to that than the blips and the upping and downing of the moment.
Right.
Okay. So shall we then just proceed with some meditation? And let me get the right view up. Mindfulness is present moment awareness, paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. Feel your breath in and out. Receive whatever is experienced, and then let it go. All right. Okay, now let me get ready to talk. Today, I will talk about the second chapter of the Yoga Sutras. So we're still with the Yoga Sutras. This chapter is called the Sadhana Pada. Sadhana is a Sanskrit word for practice. This chapter is really for most of us who are bound, limited in some way, caught in the circumstances and experiences of life that can bring suffering. This chapter talks about the causes of suffering, the way to relieve suffering, and practical steps towards freedom from suffering, liberation. This was really also talked about at the same time by the Buddha, who said, everyone suffers, suffering has a cause, and suffering has a cure for so you can be free of suffering. So it's same time, same place in India, talking about very similar ideas. Suffering comes in many forms, from things like back pain to lack of sleep, depression, anxiety, not knowing who you truly are, and maintaining your ego view of yourself is suffering. Change brings suffering. Being uncertain about the future, your goal, your main purpose in life, these are all examples of what causes our suffering. We are encouraged by society and by force of habit to cling to life's material things, seek happiness from them, and to identify with our bodies and individual egos rather than opening to our higher self within. We look for happiness from things and people and activities rather than from within ourselves. The idea for most of us is that with active participation through choosing and acting, we can begin to bring about change. Most of us are caught up in our patterns and are not mindful of them. The idea that through practice and through specific kind of action, we can begin to transform our patterns and break our attachments and identifications, which are at the root of most of our problems. We can get to the root of our suffering, then clear up the pattern that brings this suffering about. So this is really something that meditation brings about. Suffering is characterized by the term avidya, which we heard last week. And avidya translates into ignorance or misunderstanding about the nature of who we are. We mistake what brings us happiness. We mistake the unreal for the real and the not self for the self. A great example is what happens looking in the mirror. And what do you see? Most people say they see themselves, but you don't see yourself. You see a reflection of your body. And this, you identify with this body and you identify with the character, the ego in the body. And so you see that reflection as a reflection of who you are. But what you really see is a reflection of a body, and this does not show who you really are. The second chapter of the Yoga Sutra talks about not only the sources of suffering, but how to overcome them. Three ways are talked about for this. The first is the way of action, kriya. The second is the way of knowledge, jnana. And the third is the way of devotion. This is yoga, though, and yoga is really the path of action. And through action, we are able to not simply to reinforce our existing dysfunction, our existing ignorance, but rather we can open ourselves to new possibilities. If you act and move without consciousness of your patterns, you'll reinforce those patterns. When we act and behave without self-consciousness of how we are acting and behave, we follow pre-established patterns, our conditioning. We act out our conditioning instead of responding to the moment. One example is being in a bad relationship and leaving, and a few years later, finding ourselves in another relationship with the same problems because we haven't become reflectively self-conscious of these patterns. Now, like yoga, meditation starts out as action, something you do, even if doing is sitting there and being quiet. That's still an activity. As meditation gets deeper, it becomes a path of knowledge, of jnana, as you start to see yourself more completely. This seeing yourself more completely is one of the things that brings around real, deep, and lasting change. Chapter 2 addresses becoming conscious of our patterns and learning to move and act with awareness, to act and move with mindfulness. Verse 16 of chapter 2 tells us that suffering from pain that has not yet arisen is avoidable. They say you can avoid future suffering. The way out of suffering is through the cultivation of unbroken discriminative awareness, or knowing the unbounded self. In a world of uncertainty, where life brings changes that can cause fear, yoga and mindfulness meditation are paths to ease our afflictions and to lead to self-realization, to lead to the deepest peace. Now, for a different kind of meditation, this is what Buddhists call loving kindness meditation or metta meditation. This kind of meditation strengthens the part of your brain involved in relationships with other people. I would recommend that this be a part of your practice, perhaps a few times each week. one time, two times, maybe more. And I'll send you a script for this in my next email. So now we are going to do a guided loving kindness meditation.
Welcome to Declutter the Mind's Loving Kindness Meditation. So first, find a spot, whether it's a chair or cushion on the floor. Sit comfortably with your arms resting in your lap, and with your eyes open, begin to take a few deep breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. On the next out breath, gently close your eyes. Begin to notice physical sensations around you and the physical points of contact. Notice the weight of your body in the chair or on the floor. Place your attention on your back against the chair, your feet or legs on the floor, your hands in your lap. And now begin to bring to mind the image of a person who you know or you've known in your life to be loving and kind to you. Someone who easily evokes feelings of warmth and love. It could be a friend you know or used to know. It could be a partner or your spouse. It could be a family member such as a parent or your child. Maybe it's a mentor or coworker. It can be whoever has been good to you, makes you feel safe or comfortable to be yourself. Someone who is caring to you and you care a lot about. If someone doesn't come to mind, it can be someone imaginative as well. It could be the ideal of someone who is extremely caring and loving to you, and perhaps someone who will one day enter your life. Now, when you visualize this person, there is no right or wrong way to picture them in your mind's eye. The easiest way for you to picture them is the way you should picture them. You could visualize this person sitting in front of you. You can imagine their face. You can imagine a moment with them in which it's easier to bring them to mind. Now that we have this person in mind, we're going to imagine sending wishes of well-being to them. We're going to wish them well, and if it feels right, saying it aloud in your mind to them. May you be happy. Picture them now receiving your wishes for them. Imagine the look on their face or the change of their facial expression. And again, begin saying aloud in your mind to them. May you be alive, engaged, and joyful. May you experience inner peace and ease. May you be free from suffering. Again, picture them receiving your wishes. Imagine how they might feel. Now you might have your own words and wishes for them. Feel free to tell them things that resonate with you. Take some time to do this, and if you're not sure, you can continue to say in your mind, "May you be happy." Take a moment now to feel how it is to wish these things for them. Allow yourself to sense the wishes for them emanating from you, connecting you to them. And begin to notice how it feels inside you as you send these wishes of well-being to this person. And now begin to imagine this person wishing these same things for you. Imagine them saying, "May you be happy. May you be alive, engaged, and joyful. May you be free from suffering." Allow those feelings now to wash over you. Allow the feelings of love and caring to grow in you, knowing that there's nothing you have to do to deserve these wishes and feelings. These are given freely, without any conditions. And now begin to imagine this person in their happiest state they've ever been in. Imagine all their worries having been solved. Imagine anything they've ever wanted to achieve or accomplish has been awarded to them. Imagine all their ailments and issues having been cured. Just picture them in this state for a few moments. Picture them in complete joy and bliss. Picture them the happiest they've ever been in their emotional state. Picture their face and their expression to this joy. Imagine the way they would move or act. Imagine the things they would say, the tone in their voice. And now begin to wish these things upon yourself. In your mind, begin to say, "May I be happy. May I be safe and protected. May I be free and alive. May I be free from suffering." And again, and finally, say to yourself in your mind, "May I be happy." And now gently return your attention back to the body and back to the physical points of contact. Again, noticing your weight on the floor or chair. Noticing the legs and feet, arms in the lap, the back against the chair. And now, in your own time, gently open your eyes and notice how you feel. You've just completed the loving kindness meditation. Thanks for sitting, and I'll see you next time.
All right. And now we will have our final meditation. Breathing in, I feel energy filling my body. Breathing out, I feel calmness spread throughout my body. All right. Let us close with a short chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.
Om.
Peace, peace, peace. All right. Any questions or comments? How do you like the loving kindness?
I always
I
like
like-
this. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, it was, yeah, I really liked that.
Okay, I thought you might, and I'll send, as I say, the next email I'll give you a script, and the script, of course, you can use whatever words you resonate with, but one of the things you do in the script is, first you, like they showed here, offer loving kindness to somebody you're close to, then maybe to somebody you're not close to. There's another step which I've found interesting personally, which is offering loving kindness to someone that I don't have a good relationship with. And to
Mhm.
me, that actually is a real interesting thing to see what happens. So I'll send it to you guys, and you guys can try it maybe, and we can talk about it next week.
Okay,
Good.
Okay,
thank you.
well, very good. Namaste, and happy to
Namaste.
see you, and we'll
Okay.
see you again next time.
Okay.